Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com, and Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. All right, hope y'all had an awesome day. Yesterday's morning scone was a sporadic, well, not sporadic, but yeah, I guess in a way it was sporadic. It was a sporadic, frantic attempt. I got to ride yesterday in the wearing of the green parade for St. Patty's Day, which was so much fun. Giant parade. Didn't realize, I guess I knew it was a big day and a big parade, but to ride in it and to see it all from start to finish was pretty crazy. So I made crazy though, like on my phone, I had 5 bars, like I had full service, but couldn't make or receive phone calls and it would not let me go live. So I went old school morning scone and just recorded an episode on my phone and uploaded it. So sorry I missed y'all live yesterday, but LSU baseball moves to 2-0 in conference. They rally past Texas A&M. The Aggies got up to a 4-0 lead, and then the LSU bats came. Jared Jones, a 3-run homer, accounted for 7 RBI. Garrett Edwards really good out of the bullpen again for 3 1/3. It was this team just keeps showing they got a lot of different ways they can win, and they're creeping up into really rarefied territory now. Longest win streak since the 2017 team, best start at 18-1 since the 2013 team. They're great, and they keep getting it from different places. In game 1, you had your stars step up. Skeens was awesome. Cruz scored 3 runs. White scored 3 runs. Or Morgan scored 3 runs. White had 3 RBI. Right, so your stars stepped up. And then yesterday, Floyd got knocked around a bit. And it was Garrett Edwards who stepped up and put his finger in the dike and let the offense rally. And it was Jared Jones who had the big day. So when you're that deep, you're never just counting on 1 or 2 players to constantly pull you up. You got options, and boy, do they. So Tigers go for the sweep today. It'll be Thatcher Hurd on the bump, and see if they can get it 1 o'clock first pitch. All right, let's say some good morning, see what y'all got here. Dustin B, good morning. Alex Barnes, Scone, loved the video yesterday. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. I'll need to go back. I know it was only like 3 minutes. I basically gave you quick thoughts on the game, and I think kind of showed you all the float and everything. But what a wild day at the parade, really. A lot of fun, but just so many people. So a ton of people I knew as well, so it was fun. Let's see. Patrick Berglass, good morning. How busted is your bracket? Go Tigers. Let's go to Greenville. Yeah, I think my Final Four is still intact. Actually, I need to check because I can't remember if I had Kansas. I might have had Kansas in the Final Four. I know I had Marquette against Houston in the championship game. I don't remember my other 2. Oh, I had Bama in the Final Four. And maybe it was Kansas. I need to go check. But yeah, I think everybody's bracket's annihilated right now. But really, if you're trying to win a bracket challenge, the key is picking the most teams in the Final Four and picking the champion. If you pick the champion, you've got the best shot of winning. Let's see. Jermaine Washington, good morning. Bubba Tatum, good morning. Deborah Coward, good morning. What a comeback. Yep. Jeff McKithen, Noah Bales. Makes me sick knowing Bama is going to win the Natty. Yeah, no, I'm not so sure about that. Like, I think nice bounce back for Houston yesterday. And I'm telling, like, my championship game is Houston and Marquette, and I think those two teams are really going to be tough outs. So. Bubba Smith, Megan Hurst, good morning. Mark Vitanovich, the Irish-Italian parade in Metairie at noon. All right, free cabbage by Lakeside Mall. Y'all go get it. Go get it. Jeremy Sagely, hopefully I can watch the Tigers play. Yeah, man, they're on at 1 o'clock today. Stephen Robeek, what's good? Good to see y'all yesterday. Saw the Robeeks on the parade rally. So there was a lot of people I saw. As you'd imagine, it was a lot of people. So brought some Hudco hats. It was a very popular item. I had people yelling at me for Hudco hats, which was pretty cool. Let's see. Wendell Norman, good morning. Thomas Bagby, morning, Matt. My expectation for LSU baseball will be far too high if we sweep today. I think expectations are fine. I mean, I think we all recognize how good this team is. I think we've said all along expectation is Omaha for this team. But great teams fall short sometimes. We saw with Tennessee last year. That's the best, most recent example. Is Tennessee last year was incredible. Were they 25-5 in the SEC, and best record in the country, and lost their home super regional. So you just got to be hoping. You just got to be healthy and playing your best when the postseason comes. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to win a lot of series. Kelly Groves, happy Sunday. Aaron Fontaine, morning, Scone, and fellow Sconers from Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. Good to see the Bats respond on the road after squandering some early opportunities. Yep. The thing is, you give that offense enough chances to see a pitcher through, and eventually they're going to break through, which is what they did second time through the lineup yesterday. So there's too many good hitters. And if you pitch around guys, you're going to have trouble with whoever's next. So, not sure what else to say, man. I'm excited to see Thatcher Hurd today. Ty Floyd got roughed up a bit yesterday, so let's see Thatcher Hurd today if he's ready to be that stalwart in the rotation, like he can be. He certainly has the stuff to be. Let's see him go do it. Shannon O'Mac, good morning, Matt. Go Tigers, both the ladies basketball team and men's baseball. Yep. So Lady Tigers are advancing. Excited about that. See them play today. And, hopefully we see them punch their ticket to the Sweet 16 and continue this run. Shelby Kelly, I know you're off the WBC, but Trey Turner hitting the go-ahead grand slam in the 8th and seeing the best players that are typically this competition running and jumping to cheer them on is great. Chills. Saw it on Twitter. Go USA. Mark Allen. So if you missed on Friday, Terrio was talking about the World Baseball Classic, and I was just telling him, I don't care about the World Baseball Classic. It's, it in the 20 years or whatever since its inception, it just hasn't gained a ton of traction. I think it's hard. It's hard to gobble up market share whenever it's hard to garner up market share when there's so much competition and you're trying to do something new. Maybe this will be a breakthrough. Like, I didn't even know the U.S. was playing yesterday. Mark Allen, happy Sunday. Michael Castello, morning, Matt. Tigers look good after the third. My wife rode in the parade, so it was lots of fun. I was stuck at work. Yeah, man, that, we had to be there so we met at Aesthetic at 7 a.m. to load the float and then go drive over to get in line. And apparently you have to do that early because they start blocking off roads. So the ride down Perkins, by the way, yesterday morning when it was about 40 degrees and you're riding down on a float was freezing. That was not fun. But we got in line and we ended up having about 2 hours to kill because you got on the float at 10 because the parade started at 10, but we didn't actually start moving until like 10:50. So it goes to show you how many floats there were and how big the parade was. So you start on 100 Oaks and you basically go all the way down 100 Oaks, then make a left on Perkins, and you go over the overpass and it finishes there. But I thought we were done when we saw the big mass of people throughout 100 Oaks. Because then, there were big, thick spots on 100 Oaks, and then it started to thin out. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're about done. And so I was kind of unloading stuff because I had so much stuff that I hadn't thrown yet, and not even realizing we were about to turn on to Perkins, and the mass of humanity that was there was like, oh, God. Anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of people. Would love to do it next year. I called Terrio after. I was like, bro, we got to do a Hudco float next year. Like, let's get in this thing and sling some Hudco hats and koozies, and there's a lot of fun. Hunter Fournette, the Elms for game 1 and 2 need the eye correction Dugas had. Good Lord. I will remind you, Hunter, that these are collegiate umps calling games for collegiate pitchers. That's why you don't see K-Zone on college baseball games, because they're not professionals and they do get a little grace, just like if you were watching a high school game or a youth league game. If you call it super tight, the game will never end. So, anyway. Cody Kibido, but I understand your frustration. Cody Kibido, morning, Matt. 1, Jared Jones is a monster. 2, do you think they'll leave Hurd on Sundays or move him to Saturday starter? Good question about Hurd. I don't know, and I was thinking that this morning if Jay may do that, depending on how he pitches today. I don't know. I know the expectation always was that Hurd would end up in the rotation. I think for the beginning of the year, the thought was Skeens, Hurd, Shores. Then Floyd obviously has pitched really well until yesterday, but one bad outing does not a season make. So I think if Floyd continues to struggle, you could see Shores jump back in. So Hurd could go up to Saturday and Shores, or Floyd could be your Sunday guy. I think that's realistic. Chance Babb and Tommy White's known as a slugger, but he's just a great hitter. He's pretty incredible, man. His ability to go the opposite way with power is what has surprised me most. When you have power like that to all fields, and I'm not just talking about home run power, but like the double he hit on Friday night in the 9th, that kind of broke it open. Before the double, he hit a ball foul that probably went 400 feet, and it looked like it was gone. It looked like it was a grand slam, but they never showed us a replay. But yeah, his ability to hit with power all fields is crazy. Brian Williams, Debo, 5 more days till 5 years. Okay. 5 years of morning scone, no kidding, half a decade. So that's the anniversary, huh? I want to see, what was the date of the first ever morning scone? So it would have been today's the 19th? So it was March 24th was the first ever breakfast scone. Let's see. Trivia Carter, good morning. Joey Metke, good morning. David Bass, morning. Go Tigers. The team definitely has the right mindset to accompany the talent. Future's bright. Brett DeGrow, good morning, Matt. Let's get the sweep. Any news on Javen Coleman? Not yet. I haven't asked. I know. I think you maybe asked that last week, Brett, and I said I would ask, and I haven't. I hadn't had an opportunity yet, but I will. Jordan Haddad, good morning. Alex Barnes, Foster Moreau coming to the Saints. Unless if you're telling me something I don't know, or if you're just asking. So the Saints are going to host Moreau. Okay, good. He's they're hosting him to visit. I wondered about that, obviously, because of the connection with Carr and being an LSU guy and a New Orleans guy. And Morrow would kind of fit the mold of your traditional tight end, which the Saints don't have. You've got Juwan Johnson, who's developed into a really nice pass-catching tight end. But the Saints have always liked that attached tight end, right? If it was, you're the blocking tight end, I hate to say it that way, but you know what I mean. Your traditional tight end from Dan Campbell back in the day to Human, Michael Ho'omanu. They've kind of always had that guy who was the Nick Van Nett, this guy they signed a couple of years ago from Denver. So they always like to have that guy as well. And I think ideally Troutman could be that guy, but he's running out of time to prove it. So if you have a guy that is a proven commodity like Morrow and you can get him affordably and he has that relationship with Carr, that does make sense. Hey, smash that like button if you would. If you're watching there on YouTube, we appreciate it. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. And if you're on YouTube and you're new, please subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. As always, shout out to Brock. After Hours Clinic is open nights and weekends, great alternative to the ER. So if you're celebrating the Tigers today, if you twisted your ankle at the wearing of the Green Parade yesterday, you can always go by Brock. Hudco Roofing. It was actually hailing yesterday morning. Pea-sized hail, very small, but it was hailing yesterday morning at the start of the parade. So, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProChargeEV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, Jordan Haddad, UCLA all the way. UCLA all the way. Josh Giraldo says Joshua Pearson, he's the glue. It has been impressive watching him come off. I hate to say come off the bench cold, but in a sense, I mean, Joe Bear had been playing and Pearson had kind of been getting just spot duty, starting time. And to go on the road and start this opening series now, the weekend he has been really impressive. Let's see, real quick. I'll give you the Pearson yesterday was he was 1 for 4, but he walked twice. So he's been on base plenty, and he scored a run, and then I was trying to get his line for game one. Oh. Come on, Matthew, get it together. Pierce was 2 for 4 with a walk and 2 runs scored. No, in 2 RBI in game one. Trivia Carter, Dugas looked like he was struggling at second base yesterday. Trivia, he's been fine there this year. You're obviously never going to be perfect, but I want Gavin's bat in the lineup, and I don't know if right now you have a better option. Gavin Guidry is going to be the heir apparent at shortstop next year when Jordan Thompson's gone. And Ben DePolt, I think, has been a nice defensive replacement. We saw it after in the 9th on Friday when Tommy White hit that double. DePolt came and ran for him and then played third in the 9th. So I think Dugas is solidified there at second. It would have to be a pretty massive unraveling. But for a guy that we've seen over the course of his career hit SEC pitching and be in these battles, I don't know that you're even remotely considering a change there. So, let's see. Mark said the Pels done and they have a shot at the playoffs. Mathematically, they're not done, but losing the other night to Houston was dreadful. I mean, you had 4 straight games, 2 against Houston, 1 against San Antonio, 1 against Charlotte, that you should have gone 4-0, and you lost the first one to Houston. Now, granted, they had a 3 at the buzzer to win it, but still, and they had the worst record in the Western Conference, and you got to beat that team. You had an opportunity, you didn't. So. Let's see. Rachel Goff, are you at all concerned about baseball teams' slow starts? No. They didn't have a slow start on Friday. I mean, they scored 2 in the first, 2 in the third. They were 4-0 on Friday. So no, I'm not at all. I don't even know that I'd say they've had slow starts. Ryan Thibodeau, it's the latest on Game Coin. I'm getting impatient. If you've been patient this long, Ryan, there's no reason to be impatient. So today's the 19th. Said all along that you'll have an announcement by the end of Q1 of 2023. And the end of Q1 is a few weeks away. So I very, very much appreciate the question and understand the desire. But yes, I'm excited, man. It's funny. Adam Card said that's still a thing. Absolutely, it is, Adam. It's the thing that most people didn't understand last fall. Whenever people were buying the GMBX token because their friends told them to, they had no idea what they were buying. It was always pushing toward the platform, which is being built and takes a long time to build. But anyway, we're close, and I'm excited. Jamie Leday, Bubba Tatum, WBC just cost the Astros Altuve for a good chunk of the season. Surprise clubs allow their top players to play. Yeah, man, I hate that for Altuve. I hate it for the Astros, obviously, but Altuve and then Diaz, of course, for the Mets. A couple high-profile injuries. I mean, it's the risk you take. It's like NBA guys letting their players go play in the Olympics. I mean, remember the awful injury Gordon Hayward had a few years ago. But you could argue it could have just as easily happened in a spring training game. I mean, I don't know how you protect against injuries like that. So, I get it. I don't blame the WBC though for the injury. It's just, I mean, again, it could have happened in spring training. We see guys get hurt and blow out, or turn an ankle, or get hit by a pitch guy in spring training all the time. So anyway. Debo was waiting for Pearson to get in the lineup. He's been coming in clutch. D.A. Matt, this umpire strike zone was the size of a dinner plate and very inconsistent for both teams. Longest game of the year, almost 4 hours. Good win, excellent pitching. Pat Huseman, good morning. Bo Revere, good morning. The size of a dinner plate, that's a good line. Went to the PBR last night. What's the PBR? Was a blast. Highly recommend. Went to the PBR. What's the PBR? Sorry, I don't know. Went to the PBR. Joseph Allsgraf, good morning. Nacho Man. We're going streaking. Let's see. Debo said LMA. The A&M announcers were talking about pitching around White. Might help, but I'm laughing because Dugas right behind him. So that's the point, right? When in years past, you could pitch around Cruz because you didn't have protection behind him. If they put Joe Bear behind him last year, yes, Joe Bear hit 19 homers or whatever it was, but there was a lot of swing and miss with Braden Joe Bear as well. So, um, you could say, all right, I'm going to challenge Joe Bear. I'm going to pitch around Cruz and challenge Joe Bear because I think I get a swing and miss. This year, you can't pitch around Cruz because Tommy White's sitting right there. And if you pitch around White, just as you said, then Gavin Dugas is sitting there. And then there's Josh Pearson and Jared Jones. And it's relentless, man. I feel like Dugas has been plunked 50 times this year. Dude is a magnet. It's like the Jordans. Remember Bo and Bryce Jordan? Russell Doloff, good morning. See, Bo, sucks what happened Altuve. Nacho Man, how often do they play the World Baseball Classic? Isn't WBC every 4 years? It was every 4 years. Yeah, 4-year cycle starting with 2013 and 2017. And they canceled 2021 because of COVID. So they're playing it now. So then after this year, the next one is 2026. Robert Cooley had a lot of fun watching the World Baseball Classic. Never really cared, but I'm hooked now. Very cool. Very cool. Bruce Shales, morning, Matt. Where would you rank Cruz in LSU baseball history? Top 3? Let's wait. Bruce, let's wait and see how this year finishes. Like, if he's the best player on a team that wins a national championship, then it's obviously going to elevate him. If he's the number 1 overall pick in the draft, then it obviously elevates him alongside Ben McDonald, and he becomes the first ever position player to be taken number 1 overall. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what the final tally looks like. But when you look at the guys that have been taken, the position players that have been taken, in the top half of round 1, you're obviously looking at Bregman. You're looking at Todd Walker, Aaron Hill. But see, that's the thing. No one ever mentions Aaron Hill in that conversation. When Hill was a great player, was a shortstop, All-American, and played with 15 years in Major League Baseball. But few people ever mention Hill in that convo because he played for Smoke and they didn't win anything as a team. They didn't win. I should say they didn't win anything. They went to Omaha, but they didn't win a national championship, right? So, and then there are players like Eddie Furnace, who's got his jersey retired and has some records that will probably never fall, or will take will probably never fall, because I don't know if you'll get a guy that stays 4 years with the type of power that Furnace had. Now his hits record fell to Jake Mangum, right? But that's a record that stood since 1998. It stood 20 years. His SEC hits record until Mangum and Antoine, right? But the power numbers, to have someone that hits with power that stays 4 years, it's just highly unlikely, right? So, but Furnace has his jersey retired, has all these records, but never played in Major League Baseball. So how do you consider that? You know what I mean? So for me, the conversation is going to start as far as position players with Todd Walker, and I think you have to consider Bregman right there. And I think Cruz does, Cruz does belong right there in that conversation. Absolutely he does. But let's see how this year finishes. I mean, if he wins a Golden Spikes Award and a national championship, like, he may push past all of them. Mark S., USA versus Cuba semifinal tonight. Miami's going to be fire. Okay. Maybe I'll tune in. We'll see. Maybe not. And Tron Hemingway, morning, Matt. Does LSU baseball play? They do. 1 o'clock. Game 3 of the series with Texas A&M, 1 o'clock today. Aaron, WC players bugged Griffey Jr. to take BP. We saw it. We watched it on Friday. We played it on AFR. Him taking BP on Friday. Old Griffey Jr. still in his fit. Was he 56 now? Something like that. Hat backwards, a little heavy. Still a beautiful swing, man. Yeah, hard for WBC to compete with the NCAA tournament. Jordan Haddad, they're not umpires, they're school bus drivers. Let's see. Hunter Picard, Jason H. looked cold. Looked like a cold ride yesterday in the parade. It was cold riding from aesthetic to the parade route, right? Like going down Perkins exposed in a float. When it's 40 degrees, then you have the wind cutting you. Yes, that was cold, very cold. But the ride itself wasn't that bad. Like the parade route wasn't that bad. John Malossa, morning, Matt. How's Drew? Also, do you plan on doing more remote broadcasts for the radio station, or was that just for the start of the tournament? Drew's doing well. Thank you for asking, John. We're tinkering with meds, so it's creating some side effects. We're trying to figure out what's going on, some other stuff, which isn't a lot of fun. But he's doing great. But he's doing well. Thank you. As far as remotes, I do want to take our station on remote more. I want to give. People ask about it a lot, and I think people want the opportunity to come watch shows and to meet our staff, and so I want to do that more. So you may start to see that more, yes. Brad David with the was the NCAA really have done something to football if LSU didn't fire Wade, or was that just a threat? They may still. Brad, remember LSU self-imposed the bowl ban the COVID year and some recruiting restrictions, but that case is still not closed. Like that book is still open right now. Jason H. Matt, did you get a pair of those SBs? I wasn't going to wait in that line, bro. I was not going to wait in that line, man. Matt, how is the Lady Tiger softball team doing? They're awesome. Now, they've had a disappointing weekend against Tennessee, but they came into this weekend, I believe, 23-2. They're really good. They had Beth on the show last week, and she even acknowledged, look, I mean, they went through some fires last year with a young team and knew they were going to take some lumps, but on the other side, it was going to be a shiny diamond, and that's kind of what this year is. Allie Kilponi came back, and they added some transfers, and they're having a tough start to the weekend against Tennessee. It was great. I think Tennessee's ranked 5th in the country. They've allowed. What did Beth say? I heard Beth say this when we talked. Tennessee had allowed like 1 run in conference play or something like that. They're just Tennessee is really good, and you're gonna have to find a way to break through against a great pitching staff. But LSU's been shut out twice, 5-0, 3-0. So see if they can break through today. Softball team plays at today at 1 o'clock, same as the baseball team. All right, YouTube, please smash the like button. 173 watching, that's awesome, man. Thank y'all for being here. If you would, please smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe up to the channel. One other thing, I'll go ahead and post again here, if you wouldn't mind. Happy to have been nominated again for Best of 225, Best Radio Personality, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge has been nominated for Best Radio Station. So I'll go ahead and post the link there, but if you would, take a quick second. And actually, you know what? I'll post a different link here, the one that goes specifically to the people in the entertainment section. Hang on. If you haven't voted yet, you would take a quick second and vote. I'd really appreciate it. As I've, some of you have heard me say this a bunch, but as I've explained before, I think it's tough for the sports guys to win because 225 readership does skew a little more heavily female. So it's a uphill climb for us. But I've been nominated. It's always an honor to be nominated, and I've been nominated, I think, in various categories, like the last 10 years or so, and I've won once. So it was a very pleasant surprise to win a few years ago, and I would like to win again. So anyway, if you could take a quick second to vote, it's great. It's one of the reasons I love it. It is a organic fan vote. I mean, there's no committees or anything voting. It's literally just who can get their listeners, supporters, whatever, to go vote. So appreciate it if you would. Arthur Coco, good morning. Jason Brown, LSU answered all my questions. Good, Jason. Jason, I think it was you the other day. He was like, man, he was like, we'll get some questions answered this weekend. And I was like, what questions do you have about this team? Arthur Coco, did you watch the WBC? I did not, no. Got home from the parade. Honestly, I got home from the parade and took about a 2-hour nap. And then woke up, took Drew for a walk, and just went for a walk, pushed him in the wagon around the neighborhood. Came back, ate some dinner, watched the tournament, and then and then we watched was the SEC gymnastics meet last night. So Tiger Gymnastics finished third at the SECs. Florida was awesome. So watched that, and then I put on a movie. I watched. I started about 10:30 because I had to stay up to give Drew his medicine at 1:30 in the morning. So I was like, I'll just stay up instead of going to bed and setting an alarm because I'd taken a nap. So I watched the Whitney Houston movie. I want to dance with somebody. Love Whitney Houston. Raymond, morning, Matt. Getting vibes from the baseball team like it did for 2019 football. Nacho Man, Cougars going to win it all. Look, if Houston wins it all, my bracket will do significantly better than it is right now. And I know it's a pet peeve because nobody actually cares about how other people's brackets are doing. Like, everybody likes to talk about their bracket, but you really don't care how someone else's bracket's doing, and I understand and respect that totally. On the leaderboard, I'm last among the 9, the staff, whatever. So Cade, Musso, Jimmy Ott, Hester, Hunt, Taylor Sharp, Paul O'Neill, T-Bob, and then me. But it's all going to depend on, who you have picked for your Final Four, how many Final Four teams you get in there, all this stuff. How about Charles Pierce, old Chuck P leading the Eagle 98.1, folks. Like, let's see, Cade's leading. And Cade's Final Four. Does Cade have the same Final Four as me? I think Cade and I have the same Final Four. Alabama, Marquette, Houston, Gonzaga. I think we do. Cade and I have the same Final Four. Alabama, Marquette, Houston, Gonzaga, and we have the same championship game as well, Marquette and Houston. Wow. Okay. Yeah, my Final Four, again, I know nobody cares, but I'm just checking because I'd forgotten. No, I had Kansas. I had Kansas beating Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. So I had, then I had Baylor. Okay, so I have Baylor, Marquette, Houston, Kansas. Baylor, Marquette, Houston, Kansas. Then I have Marquette, Houston in the championship game with Houston winning it. We'll see. Truax, what's up? Good morning. What time is it? 10:25. Going to church at 11:30. So get moving here in a little bit. Go a little quicker. Thanks for watching as always, y'all. Shout out to Brock, the Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. Need an orthopedist? Go to Brock. Need a roof? Give us a shout. Hudco Roofing. Hudco's pinned in the chat. You can fill out the contact form there on the homepage. Love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Dan Bergeron, Jordan Haddad, Bo. They haven't. We just expect them to score 10 in an inning. We're spoiled. Austin Kidder, good morning. Great start to SEC play. Nice to finally see a Tiger team take care of an inferior A&M team in College Station. True. Leon Williams, Dalton Barnett, Morin Matty, Greg Brooks wearing number 7. Are you asking, or have they made? I don't think they've awarded number 7. and I genuinely don't care, but they've still got Brooksburg at number 3. So. Let's see. Pearson since the Iowa game, 5 for 13, 7 RBI, 6 walks, 1 strikeout. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. Tribe. If the trash can Raiders had no use for Carr, why would we want him? So, not to reignite the flame of that argument that we've had for weeks now, but I do believe, I'll say it again, I do believe Derek Carr is the best option the Saints had for 2023 to win games. I also believe there is a lower ceiling with Derek Carr than if you were to draft a potential franchise quarterback. So what's done is done. They're committed to Carr for at least 2 years on the field and financially for 4 years. So let's see. David Bass, everyone that watched yesterday's game knows that it was only a couple timely hits from being a blowout. I think Hurd will eventually be the Saturday guy. See if Hurd can go do it today. Big one. Oh, well, I'm really behind on comments. Okay, I'm going to get going a little bit here. Zachary Snyder, speaking of hit by pitch, can't recall the last time LSU was reached base on hit by pitch this month. It was last year. LSU was challenging the NCAA record for hit by pitch last year. Cole Grainer, happy to see Pearson break into the lineup. Gray Abraham, morning Matt, curious if there are any pieces the Saints could add that would make us contenders in the NFC. I agree with your statements about Carr. Don't think he can get us there. Yeah, and so legit contenders. You have to look at who are the legit contenders right now. Philly, obviously, is one. San Francisco, although their quarterback situation is a question mark right now. With Rodgers very likely leaving Green Bay, that would seemingly clear the path there. Is Dallas still in that conversation? Can New York build on what it did last year? These are question marks, right? So can you be in that conversation? Sure, you can be. You've got to remake your defensive front. And, I like the defensive tackle signings they made already, but they can't be done there. I mean, you've got to add at least 2 more. So, and then I think you've got to get Carr more weapons. You're going to need to add another running back, and you need to add at least another receiver. Is there a legit case Skeens goes number 1 in the draft? Jaleel Dean, yes, there is. I'll tell you, I did talk to one of my buddies yesterday who's a scout. And right now they have Skeens, Cruz 1, Skeens 2, Dolander from Tennessee 3 in the draft. There's a high school kid, I believe, out of Pennsylvania who is going to push to be top 5 as well. And I'll tell you that the reason this was interesting is that this person told me that I want to see his pitch in a second. Because the Pirates have the first pick, and I think it might be the Nationals second. If I'm not mistaken, I just want to check to make sure I'm right. I think it's Pirates Nationals. Yes, so it's Pirates Nationals. So there was essentially there's hope within the Nationals organization that Cruz goes first to Pittsburgh because they want Skeens in Washington. And the reason is they see him as an ace. And when you get a legit ace that will have a rocket ship ascension into the major leagues, and you have him under contract for 6 years because of our arbitration, you you get a legit ace for 6 years at the front of your rotation before you have to pay him some ungodly number, and you can either pay him or trade him for a whole bunch of assets. So if Dylan Cruz goes 1 to Pittsburgh, I would expect Paul Skeens to go 2 to Washington. That's provided Pittsburgh doesn't take Skeens number 1. But Julio, to answer your question, absolutely. There is a very realistic chance that Paul Skeens goes number 1, and I don't think he gets past 2 with Washington, provided he stays healthy and the season goes as expected and all that sort of stuff. Jeb Whitley, Matt, did you watch UFC 286? I didn't, but I saw Edwards won again. Oh, stunning, man. Stunning. Watching here in the last several months, Adesanya and Usman lose rematches. Stunning. Stunning. David Bass, Damon Gilmore, Brett DeGrow, Cortland Jacob. What a way to break in a new quarterback in 24 with 11 power games, including 2 against the Big Ten. Nuss will surely have a chance to prove himself, provided Nuss is still here. Very impressed with the work Jordan Thompson has done. His defense is much improved. He's always been that, man. He's, and I'll say this again. Jordan Thompson struggled early last year, and too many people pigeonholed him as a defensive liability. He got much better. He was good the year before, and he got much better in the second half of the year last year. But because he struggled early, it got down to the point where any time he kicked the ball, it was like, oh, there's Thompson. He's terrible at shortstop. He's fine. Justin Franks, do you think Little is the closer for good? I hope so, Justin. I mean, I'll tell you, and I've told you all this before, that the plan was for that to be hang on. My brain cells aren't firing yet. 50. Big kid. Blew out. Where's my brain? Come on, brain. Taylor. Oh, God. I don't think I was thinking. I was thinking Grant Edwards. I'm like, it's not Grant Edwards. It's Garrett Edwards. It's Grant Taylor. Grant Taylor. The idea was for Taylor to go be the closer. He blew out. That obviously shook things up a little bit. So I like Christian Little in that role. Yes. Give me 99 out of the bullpen. Yes. Dalton Barnett, Team Drew, Bioval, Prince of the Parish. I love it. Cortland, I think there's a tactic to pitch Morgan inside. He spins away. If you can get late break, Morgan could be spinning away while the ball crosses the strike zone. If it doesn't break, you hit it. And Morgan likes to hit the opposite way. So if you pitch him away, he'll hit away. Also interesting, people say we struggle with lefties. We dropped 12 on them yesterday. LSU also hasn't lost to a left-handed pitcher yet this year. Joey Medke, Matt, can you explain investigation that's open on the LSU football program? Yeah, it all dates back to the Vidal Alexander, Our Lady of the Lake case, where basically they set up a no-show job for Vidal Alexander's dad. Well, of course, then the Will Wade stuff happened. And with the NCAA, if you get level 1 violations in 2 sports simultaneously, they can hit you with lack of institutional control. And if you get with lack of institutional control, that's a dreadful outcome, because then the NCAA can come in carte blanche and investigate anything they want. And if they're looking for something, they will find something. So that's a terrible outcome. So LSU had the postseason. You implemented the postseason ban back in 2020, scholarship restrictions, all this stuff for football, and they have just basically been saying, close the case on football. Close. We're done. Like, what are you waiting on? Close the case on football. And the NCAA has kept it open, and it looked like they were nearing conclusion. And then all the Title IX stuff came out, right? During the Les and Ogeron eras, for which LSU suspended Miriam Seeger and Verge Ausberry, but it essentially just reopened or elongated the football side of things. So then, of course, when LSU basketball got the NOA, they fired Will Wade, and the thought was that would be like, okay, here's your pound of flesh. This is what you wanted. We fired him, and the plea is, new AD, fired the coach, hired a new coach, new players. Don't punish this new coach and the new players for the deeds of a past regime and roster and everything. But they wait and see what they do. Let's see, Cortland. I never root for Auburn, but I wanted to see another number one fall. Fairleigh Dickinson killed my bracket. How about Lee Feinswag? Lee picks Purdue to win the national championship every year in his bracket, and for the second time ever, a number one seed fell. And the crazy thing about Fairleigh Dickinson is they weren't even supposed to be in the field, right? Because the team that won their conference was like their first year, so they didn't qualify to go to the tournament. Wow. I wouldn't hate the car move so much if I didn't know it meant they absolutely are not drafting Hooker. It's hard to imagine them taking a quarterback at 29 or 40 after signing Carr. Debo, I think we're overreacting on Floyd. Think he pitched well, extremely tight zone. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't overreact to one outing. Let's see, Glade. Could you speak on what happened to the men's basketball team this year? Yeah, they lost a lot of games. Sorry, I'm not trying to be too sarcastic. Yeah, they're just not very good, man. I don't know how else to say it. Like, they didn't have size, they didn't have length, they didn't have shooters. You thought Adam Miller was going to be really your instant offense, your guy who could shoot and score from anywhere on the floor. That didn't really materialize. KJ Williams was really your only consistent offensive threat, and he probably should be like the third or fourth best player on an LSU team, and he was the only offense. And that's a problem. They played hard. They just weren't very talented. So, Matt McMahon's going to turn over probably 6 roster spots. You have the 2 seniors this year, and then they're probably going to see about 4 guys in the portal. So, you got to go hit the portal and rebuild this roster. Barry Jocelyn, part of the baseball team. Let's sweep the Aggies. Let's see, is Lang still with Washington? No, Lang is in Detroit. Chance Babbitt, who you got, Edwards or Covington? How do you not say Edwards? Ashley, Megan, we should get LSU some rings. Let's see, Ashley, Matt, Iowa had 1 left-handed pitcher. That game was so off. I don't understand. What do you mean? That game was so off. The question earlier was, about LSU struggling against lefties. The point is they're undefeated this year against lefties. Iowa didn't start a lefty in that game. They brought Simpson, the lefty, out of the bullpen, who pitched very well against LSU. He did. Baffling that AM kept putting the shift on with Cruz. No White, considering how often those guys hit the other way. Cruz and White. Let's see. Gymnastics scoring has become comical across the sport this year. Hasn't that always been a criticism of gymnastics, though? Like, that no one really knows what they're looking for and what the, how the judges interpret things. It is a bizarre thing to see. Damon Gilmore, I don't know if you watched UFC last night. Title fight scorecards were up. I did not watch the fight. I just saw the result. I was thinking of Henry for some reason. Yes, Henry. Cole Henry is in the national system, yes. Let's see, second time a 16 beat a 1. Only the sixth time the 5 seeds swept round 1. The 2 Cinderellas this season are from Jersey. Yeah, this is a weird tournament, Cortland. It's a weird year in college basketball. I mean, just because, a few years ago, like Baylor and Gonzaga were the 2 best teams in the country. We all knew it. Gonzaga was undefeated. Baylor was, I think, had 1 loss. Like, we knew those were the 2 best teams in college basketball. And they played for the championship, and it was great. This is a year where you could make a case for Bama. You can make a case for Houston. You can make a case for Marquette. You could make a case for Kansas, Purdue, Baylor. I mean, there's a lot of teams you can make a case for throughout the course of this year. So I'm not surprised that we have the tournament going the way that it is this year. Just because I look at Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas beating Kansas yesterday. This has not been a great Arkansas team. Musselman's a great coach, and they played a great game yesterday. Hunter Hose is Texas A&M's whole reason for staying in games. Haas, yeah, I know you mean. A&M got rings to a baseball team. But you know what, though, Ashley? T-Bob brought that up to me, and I don't care. I don't care if you get rings for going to Omaha. You should get rings for going to Omaha. I mean, that's like getting rings for going to the Final Four, even if you lose it. You should get rings for going to Omaha. But I have no problem with that whatsoever. You make it to Omaha, I have no problem getting Omaha rings. None whatsoever. Thoughts on Muss ripping his shirt off? I was surprised by it. I thought it was a little stupid, but whatever. I'm not going to be the no fun guy, of course. Ole Miss in shambles. Ole Miss's problem is they can't pitch it. I'll tell you, Arkansas is going to run into the same problem in league play as well. Ole Miss losing Hunter Elliott is massive. I mean, Elliott was such a key part of their run last year. When he emerged is really when they hit their stride. And Ole Miss can swing it a little bit this year, but they're not going to pitch at a high enough level to win. All right, y'all, I think we might be about done. 10:45. I'm going to church here at 11:30, so I'm going to go jump in the shower and get rolling. Quentin Brake, Bill, Tim Sonier, good morning. All right, y'all, brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Hudco is pinned in the chat there, so if you would, need a free, no obligation roofing inspection, we'd love to help you out. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Restored Motions and ProCharge EV. If you've got pain, book a session with Crystal Poche. And check out ProCharge EV, especially if you are a business owner. Installing an electric vehicle charger, even if you don't have an EV, doesn't matter. Your customers will. It'll bring customers in, and they have tap-to-pay options, so you can turn it into a revenue generator for your business. ProChargeEV.com. Okay, y'all, have an awesome day. Go Tigers. LSU, 1 o'clock today. We'll keep our eye on the NCAA tournament as well. And again, on the way out, if you would, YouTube, please smash that like button. 154 watching, 76 likes. So we're at about 50% of y'all actually hitting the like button, so appreciate it. And if you're new, please subscribe up to the channel as well. Any more that I might have missed? Brian Penton, what's good? Hey, Dad, good morning. Sorry, just jump back over here to Facebook. Steven Schneider, good morning. All right. Steven Schneider said, Matt, with all the talk about Morgan being drafted as a utility player, I'm confused. He's such a good glove at first. I don't know why he's not praised by MLB scouts for his play at first, at least from what I've heard. Your thoughts? So, Steven, I've literally talked about this for 3 years now. And I got laughed at and criticized by LSU fans for the last 3 years for saying this. Trey Morgan will never play first base at the next level, because at the next level, you do not put athletic guys at first base. And because he's a lefty, he can't play anywhere else on the infield. So that means he's going to play in the outfield. You do first base is at the next level is reserved for a guy who does not have a glove, that basically just stands on first base, catches the ball, and slugs homers. It's a way. First base is a way to get a bat in the lineup. It's why big boppers like think Sykes Orvis and Wes Ray, guys like that. It's not that Trey Morgan isn't a good first baseman. It's that's a spot on the field where you can sneak another bat into the lineup. Like when Tommy White was hurt and had to DH, well, how did you keep Jones in the lineup? You put him at first base. Like, that's what you do. So if you put Trey Morgan at first base, you are wasting an opportunity to get another bat in the lineup by having an athletic guy that's capable of playing somewhere else, playing there. So first base is not a premium defensive position. You can tell a big dude you can tell Prince Fielder, hey, stand on the base, catch the ball, and slug homers. That's why. So, and I've literally been saying this for 3 years now. And all I've heard from LSU fans is, Steven, what you said. But he's so good at first, and nobody at the next level cares. There's lots of dudes that can scoop balls, and it's just, yeah. It's not because Morgan is a good first baseman. He can be good at a lot of different places. It's a way to get another bat in the lineup. So anyway, hope that makes sense. And I'm not criticizing you, Steve, for asking the question. It's something that we've talked about here for 3 years now, and you're seeing it manifest. So because now we're draft eligible. Anyway, okay, all right, we're done. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to church. I'll say prayers for all of you today to have an awesome day, and prayers of Thanksgiving that y'all are here every day. So thanks so much. Y'all have an awesome day, and we'll see you. Peace.